Hello, my name is Vasily Tarasenko, I'm a Russian attorney. People can love Russia or hate it for political or other social reasons, but it has some truly remarkable advantages that are hard to argue with, which I am going to talk about in this video. Let's get it started. Central heating. One of the first advantages foreigners who come to Russia in winter, autumn or spring certainly note is that apartment buildings are centrally heated 24/7 during the cold season and quite intensively, so even though winters are typically cold, you can stay home wearing just shirt and a t-shirt in December. Of course, if you have high quality windows in your apartment. Usually heating a one-room apartment costs $30 to $35 monthly. Hot tap water is also available all year long and doesn't cost a lot. Free medicine. If a Russian citizen or resident ends up in hospital with, for example, appendicitis or a broken leg, the hospital will not bill him for a single ruble, because everything will be paid for from the compulsory medical insurance fund. There are also outpatient hospitals called polyclinics, which provide free reception to individuals, and most of the examinations and other services there are also free, or rather paid for from the fund. The quality of services in polyclinics is another matter, but the very fact that medical care can be provided free of charge distinguishes Russia from many other countries. Prices. In general, prices in Russia are lower than, for example, in Europe or the United States of America. Let's say one-room apartment in St. Petersburg costs on average just over $30,000. Renting such an apartment would cost about $450 monthly. Medical and dental services, which I mentioned, if they are provided not for free, are also noticeably cheaper than in Western countries. Their cost varies from city to city, but in the provinces you can get a filling of a carious tooth for $50, and the quality will be not worse than in elite Moscow clinic. That is exactly the first thing Russians returning from abroad on holiday do: medical tourism in a way. Beauty services are also quite cheap. Free education. Russian students access free higher education. A student has to pay for the dormitory if he or she is from another city and wants to live there, but this amount is so insignificant that it is rather symbolic. I must warn you right away that not all students and not always receive education for free. Firstly, the government decides how many graduates from a certain program they need, and accordingly how accessible this program should be, and secondly, a university also determines the number of places paid for by the student and by the state. Of course, these places will be taken by those who received the most points on the exam. Plus, foreign students, with rare exceptions, always pay a tuition fee. Taxes. You might think after what I said that taxes in Russia must be very high, but this is not the case. Individuals and individual entrepreneurs pay only 13% to the treasury if their income is not above average. But this applies to Russian tax residents. Check the description to learn who they are. Digitalization. The Gosuslugi, state platform of services, to which we dedicated one of our videos, greatly simplifies the lives of Russians. It complies 32 government bodies, therefore you can order almost any services there. The internet banking system is no worse developed. Of course, Russia is not the only country where it's in a high level, but it is certainly convenient, especially the fast payment system, which allows you to quickly and without fee transfer money between most banks. Plus, bank cards are accepted practically everywhere. By the way, the internet and cellular is really affordable and fast here. Infrastructure. Public transport networks are extensive in Russia. You can easily do without a car. Shops work, as a rule, from early morning until late evening every day without a lunch break, and I'm talking not only about large chain stores, but about ordinary groceries and pharmacies. Traveling. Russia is the largest country on Earth. So it's no surprise it is made up of plenty of diverse destinations to visit, including both natural places Lake Baikal, Valley of Geysers, Karelia, Altai, etc. And historical places like palace complexes, museums, cathedrals and galleries of St. Petersburg and Moscow, the Golden Ring of Russia, etc. In addition, there are many other indigenous peoples living in Russia who are often not related to Russian genetically, linguistically or culturally. For example, visit Muslim Tatarstan, Buddhist Buryatia or the subarctic, where people still use dog sleds for transporting. They all look absolutely different. Hope you found this video interesting. My name is Vasily Tarasenko, I'm a Russian attorney. Subscribe please to our channel. Bye.